Okay.
Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about firearms and the ground defense program that we teach, and then we're also going to talk a little bit about some what ifs. What if this happens? What if that happens? Now, remember that there are 1,000 ways you can skin a cat. So if you've got a better way or a way that you like better, great. You're welcome to, teach that in your own program. This just gives you an idea of something that you can do. It's not the only thing you can do. So I just posted on our Facebook Live what we do to keep our reactionary gap. And again, when Spencer and I are facing each other, if I don't show that I've got a firearm, that's my first advantage. The second advantage is making sure that I keep him a good distance away. So if Spencer puts up his arm, I put up my arm, that's reasonable. It's roughly about 8, maybe 9 feet, somewhere in that neighborhood, no less than maybe 6 feet, okay? I don't really want somebody that I don't know, that I don't trust in my space anyways, so it's always cool to go, hey man, stop following, leave me alone, whatever's going on. Hands are up as if you're ready to fight, but you look basically in a defensive position. Verbal judo is important. You want to be able to say those things to get them to slow down or stop. So again, just putting your hands up, walking away, and not saying anything, nobody really knows what's going on. I want to draw some attention to myself. This is a self-defense scenario. I don't know this guy for some reason. I'm like, hey, back off, leave me alone. And then I'm aware of my surroundings. I'm looking for other people. Maybe he's got friends. Maybe there's somewhere I can go hide. I could go run. Maybe there's someone like a police officer that I could go to and get help from and so forth. Okay. So again, let's say, for example, that we do get in a little bit close range. I can reach out and touch him. He can reach out and touch me. Remember that one good hit to the face and then I'm on the ground. Ha! Right? So we got to be careful about getting close. Let's say, for example, that I'm not paying attention and he catches me on the side and boom, I get hit. Right? If I end up making space and getting to my firearm, great. Most of the time, people go down. So let's kind of think about that. If I go down, what am I going to do? So let's take one little half step back so we get enough room to work here. So let's say, for example, that he does sucker me. Somehow my awareness is low and I'm hit. Bah! And I go down. If I fall on the strong side where my firearm is, he's got an advantage. I can't easily get to it. Does that make sense? He doesn't jump directly on top of me. I can roll to my other side, and then I can use my feet to keep space, and I can make my shots. We don't want to do this and accidentally shoot ourselves. That would be bad. So again, this enables us to just keep some space. He has to walk around us one way or the other, and I'm going to continue to turn this way in order to keep my firearm away from him. Notice that I keep one foot up and I maneuver with the other foot, and at any time, pop, 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 I can make my shots. Okay. Not bad when you're looking at a ground fighting opportunity for somebody that doesn't jump right on top of you. Let's say that he tackles me. And let's say that when he tackles me, I fall on, Spencer, come to this side. I fall on the firearm side. Okay, so again, I've got my primary weapon here. He doesn't know I have a weapon. For some reason, he grabs me and we go to the ground. Boom, he jumps on top. I'm in this position, and now I'm trying to think, how do I get to this thing? It's kind of stuck. The first thing I want to do is not let him get it, so I'm laying on it. That gives me some security. His weight is on this arm. He's not going to be able to grab it easily, so I'm going to try to maneuver into a position where I'm controlling him, and I can also control my firearm. So I've controlled this side. I can now draw. Bop, bop, bop. I can make my shot, and so on and so forth. Notice that I did move to the guard position. All right. In addition, if he pins me and he's got me down to the ground tightly, and I can't get to this weapon, if I have an ankle weapon, right? This is why the ankle weapon is good. I can now make these shots and do what I have to do in that case. So the thing that we want to kind of remember is that where is our weapon? That's the first thing. How do I get to my weapon is the second thing. Can I maneuver my body to protect the weapon and keep him from getting it? That's the third thing. Worst case scenario is you stay in a position where you're laying on the weapon and you fight him with whatever ground skills you have. Remember, you can still strike even though you're thinking about the firearm. There are other things that you can do. Let's kind of walk through that for a second. So, again, hopefully he doesn't catch me by surprise. He reaches to grab and I frame out, right? He starts entangling me, looks to throw me onto the ground, and now we're in a wrestling situation. Let's say he trips my leg, and I go down, boom, and I'm thinking, crap, he's got a better position than me. There's my weapon, my shirt, my jacket is open, he probably sees it. I want to start thinking about controlling the arms and getting my knees in between us. Remember, we're always looking to make space. However we can do that, now I am laying on this weapon to protect it. He goes to grab for the weapon. And he really is digging for it. But it's on the ground, and I'm pinning it with my elbow, and I'm laying on it. Go ahead and grab more. Pull it out if you can. All right. This entire time, I could be striking, right? I could be pushing him away, and I could be looking for an opportunity to move to a top position. Again, drawing at this point reasonably safe if I can control one arm. If I can't, I may want to go into a retain position. In other words, retain the weapon. And now I'm kind of fighting him one-handed. This is not the best scenario. Okay? It would be better for me to control him before I go for the weapon. Okay? If I can control him well, there's a chance that I can get to the weapon. If I can't control him well, stay laying on the weapon. Let's look at that again. So again, everybody can see the weapon. I want to lay on it, pin it with my elbow. He's on top and he's moving. Maybe he's trying to punch me in the face. Boom, I take a few hits. As long as I'm still alive and awake, I'm going to try to get control of the arm and get my legs around him so that he can't easily get to my weapon. I'm going to continue to maneuver him and fight him off. If he gets his hand to the weapon, everything I do now is controlling the weapon. 2-on-1. Right, I might use my legs a little bit. Draw here. Fire there. Hopefully I can end it. In the end, it is a wrestling match to the death once somebody reaches for your firearm. Hopefully we've got enough, our stress level is low enough, and our training level is high enough that we can do something. The ground game in jiu-jitsu is pretty good for this because we're used to using our feet to control people as well as our hands. We're used to fighting on our back, which enables us to make these kinds of quick maneuvers to keep them at bay. Sure, they could jump on you, they could dive on you, they could throw a knee, jump on you with their knees and so forth. Yes, that's going to hurt, but as long as you're alive and conscious, you can continue to fight. That's always been my point. That's always what I teach. Okay, last but not least, what if, again, somehow he gets control of the weapon? Let's talk about that. So we're here. He's broken into my space, maybe he's throwing a punch. I start framing up. He gets a good hit on me. He comes in and he tackles me. And we're in the ground, and he's on top in a dominant position. Right? Let's turn so everybody can see. If he goes to start punching me in the face, and this is the biggest threat, is that he's going to knock me unconscious. I want to continue to bridge so his hands keep going to the mat. He punches, I try to bridge. If I can, I want to control an arm and roll him. If I can. If I can't, I'm going to continue to try to bridge. Now, where's my weapon? In this case, it's hidden underneath his leg. Without him moving his leg, he can't reach behind and get it. He can't reach through and get it. And if he does, no problem. The more he tries to reach for that weapon, I'm going to control him. I'm looking to make a turnover and get control. The weapon comes out, and we're now fighting right to the death. If he gets the weapon on me, click, 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 death, right? So everything at this point becomes control the weapon, not the hand. Push it to the ground, move to the top, pry the weapon away if you can, and then you have to go for whatever that you're good at, whether it's using the weapon or striking with the weapon, striking with your elbow, and those types of things. Remember, if they get the weapon, the game changes from self-defense, hitting him, punching him, wrestling with him, to controlling the weapon at all costs. You have to be able to do that. There are a lot of other things we could talk about, from disarming your aggressor who's gotten your weapon. Maybe they have their own weapon and you're trying to disarm them. Very tricky, very difficult things to do, but if you train enough, you can get those skills down. My recommendation at this point is 101. Basic 101 is let's get some ground defense. Can you frame up? Can you make space? Can you keep your reactionary gap? If you go to the ground, can you lay on your weapon? Can you retain the weapon physically? If the weapon comes out, do you have control of it or does he have control over it? And now you're fighting for the barrel to try to make sure that you don't get shot. I would submit finally that one of my older martial arts instructors said, the gun or knife closest to your body is the gun or knife most likely to kill you. It could be the gun or knife you're carrying. So controlling that and keeping it back, keeping it away from them, bladed away and protected, is definitely the thing that we want to do. Guys, I'm Curtis Robinson with Conley Toe to Toe. Come see us. If I can help you with some of this training, we want to go through it. If you're in law enforcement or security or you are a concealed carrier and you want to bring your rig, your holster, we've got training weapons of all sizes we can put in your holster. We can get on the ground and say, okay, what are you going to do if they do this? What are you going to do if they do that? And you get to work through what you would do naturally. Then we're going to give you tips and coaching on position, on submissions, on weapon retention and control, and then ultimately how to get back to your feet and get to your weapon. Give us a call if you want to do some of this training at 501-515-4788.